Let's look at making the inside pocket for the Katie clutch. So we have an upper and lower pocket set which both have 10 places for credit cards, but the top pocket has an extra flap over those card pockets. So we're attaching our zip. We've already laid down our batting and we're attaching our zip between the placement lines we've actually stitched out, and we're attaching the zip in between the exterior lines of the zip placement. So attached firmly because the zips can move. The second one, the foot often rides down the teeth of the zip, so you need to watch that. Keep that top zip puller firmly fixed to the top of the hoop so you know where it is. We're going to place our first piece of back lining onto the underside of our hoop so as it crosses over the right hand side of the hoop from which is on the face. And we're just going to pin that into place so as it doesn't go anywhere, because it's going to stay in that position for quite a long time. Then we're going to place our first piece of pocketing, which is going to create the card pockets on the front. So it's 1/4 inch past the zip stitching line. That's where we're placing our pocket. So we're going to stitch those two layers together at the same time. That doesn't look quite straight. Let's just adjust that slightly. There we have it. That's our first row of stitching. And we're going to pull that long strip of pocketing or pocket lining to the left hand side, keep it taut, and then we're going to edge stitch that against the edge of the zip. And then we're going to create the base for our first set of pockets. Flip that pocketing up and to the right hand side, make sure it's got the nice firm crease at the bottom, and we're going to stitch side to side. And then again come down, and that completes the first set of pockets. Repeat the process. Second set. Third set. Fourth set. We've barely got enough fabric because our width of our fat cord is not long enough. So that's the fourth one. Let's just fold that over and then just place a similar piece of fabric the same width on top. And instead of having a fold there, we've just got a join of fabric. Makes no difference. 1, 2. We will pull that fabric down. You would be none the wiser that there was a join underneath that. Right, let's just trim off the excess, just 1/2 inch. There's our 5 slide-in pockets, and then we're going to divide that with a row of stitching up the middle of them, which will give us 10 separate pockets for cards. It seems excessive, this triple stitch going up and back, but there's a lot of duress on the stitch, so I want to keep it firm. So there's our 10 pockets. Let's just flip our back lining down and place it into position. We're just going to stitch that round. And once we've stitched that round, before we go any further, let's just cut the window out behind the zip. Now, we've said we can use either cutaway or washaway, and I've actually used, we use tearaway or washaway. I've used cutaway because I like using it with the pockets, and I just cut the window behind the zip so as it's workable when we've actually completed this particular panel. Makes no difference whether it's actually going to be cut away or whether it's going to be tear away behind the zip. Zip works the same way. Once we've got that back into place and it's been stitched around, we want to take our corner pieces of washi tape off and then trim our seam allowances back to a generous 1/4 inch. That first one, I'm just getting that out of the way, and let's just trim that back to a generous 1/4 inch on all sides. Just keeps that neat and tidy and reduces some of the bulk in the outer seam once we put our side borders on. Right, so that's into position. There you can see we can get into our pocket. Now we've got another pocket that's going to go over top of this. So this is our upper pocket, and this is going to be what we call a phone pocket. It is a little bit longer. Well, it's longer by about 1.5 centimeters or 5/8 of an inch. So it's going to have some little pleats at the base of it so as that it creates a slight gusset so as we can fit the bulk of a phone in the pocket without it actually contorting the wallet. So we're stitching our first side down. Now we're matching stitches on top of stitches. So our corner stitch of our pocket, the corner stitch of our lining. That's into place. Now you'll see there's a little bit, just a tiny little pleat, one at each end. It's going backwards, which doesn't feel right, but it's the best way to look at this one actually. And then tiny little pleat in each corner, and you won't even notice those, but it just gives you enough elevation to be able to slip a phone in without it making problems. Because once you've got cards in there, you've also got extra bulk as well. So here we go. Let's trim again our front sides back to 1/4 inch. Got quite a bit of bulk there, so, and including our zip. Now we know that our zip pull is in the middle of our work, because if it wasn't, we might be accidentally cutting it off, which would not be good. There we go. So now we're going to put our end borders onto this. Try and keep that as even as possible. Push our pleat away. See, I'm pushing that away from the edge here. Put our end border, so it's a 1/4 inch over the stitching, and we're going to stitch that down. You might need to adjust your foot height. And our next piece. The other thing about working with linen is it actually finger presses quite nicely. This has just not caught the last couple of stitches there, so I've just gone back 10 stitches and just restitching that end of that seam. Just did not quite catch that. And that's because of uneven bulk and we have a pleat behind it. Here we have our other end, and then our top border. Quarter inch past the stitching line. I moved it up too high, I think. That's better. Push that zip tab up a little bit so as it doesn't get in the way of the foot. Then push that away. Comes across, goes up and stitches against the edge of the zip. Move that row of stitching out a little bit so as it doesn't get in the way of the zip pull, so we don't have to alter it again. So there is our pocket, our 10 pockets in behind, and our phone pocket. So that's the upper panel for the inside. I keep that taped up until the very end so as we know where that is. There's nothing worse than trying to cut through a zip pull. Right, so we've got to just take our seam allowances around the edge back to 1/2 inch. Now, because we got the zip there, let's just do it in half sections. Do the top bit, move that up a little bit, and do the bottom section. And there we have 1/2 inch all the way around. That is our complete panel. Carrying on with the lower panel, do the pockets, trim the ends up. We're going to apply the top strip or top border first. Just shift that zip. And this is just going to be a skinny border because all it's going to do is just frame the zip tape. We just don't want the zip tape to be in the fold of the fabric when it is joined. So basically it's just a really skinny little strip of fabric. Skinny being the word. And then we're going to do the sides. So we'll do the top, sides. Need to change the bobbin, sorry. Do the last side, which is the bottom one there. And then we will, once we've got this complete, we'll do the last side, which is on the right, which will be on the edge of the wallet. Just trim those seams up so as they're even with the pockets as a guideline. Raw edge against the fabric, which is about 1/4 inch out from the stitching. That raw edge. And there we have it. Reduce those seams back to 1/2 inch and then we need to apply it to the other one and we have got the inside of the wallet.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Martyn's tutorial on the Katie Clutch Wallet. You can shop this beautiful clutch wallet at swpea.com. See you next time.